In the heart of Umachukwu village, nestled between hills and red earth, stood a mango tree older than memory. It was the kind of tree that held stories in its bark, tales whispered from one generation to another. Underneath its broad shade, little Chuka and Ifeoma, both barely 10, played, fought, and dreamed of the future. They were inseparable, the kind of childhood friends who finished each other's sentences and laughed at jokes only they understood. One quiet afternoon, with the golden sun pouring through the branches, they took a blade and etched their names into the tree's trunk, Chuka Red Heart Ifeoma forever. It was a childish gesture, but to them, it sealed a sacred promise. They swore to marry each other when they grew up, pinky fingers locked in solemnity. The wind that blew that day seemed to carry their promise across the village, into the ears of destiny. The years rolled by like the seasonal rains. Chuka's father got a job transfer to a wherry, and just like that, he was gone. Ifeoma, left behind, would visit the mango tree often, her fingers tracing their names as if it kept him close. Letters stopped coming after the first year, and silence filled the void. Her heart grew cautious, but she never forgot him. Chuka, adjusting to city life, was swept into a new world: concrete walls, public transport, and city slang. Memories of Umachukwu began to fade, but the name Ifeoma remained carved somewhere in his heart, just like in the tree. He often thought of returning, but life had its way of distracting even the strongest of intentions. As they both entered senior secondary school in separate states, their paths seemed destined never to cross again. 7 years later, fate weaved its threads. Chuka's parents moved back to Umachukwu after his father retired. Chuka, now taller and more refined, returned reluctantly, holding memories of dusty roads and village routines with slight disdain. But the moment he saw the mango tree again, aged but still strong, he felt a part of himself come alive. His fingers traced the fading carving, and for a moment, he stood still, lost in a memory. Ifeoma was now in SS2, blossoming into a beautiful, brilliant young woman. News of Chuka's return spread through the village like wild harmattan fire. When they saw each other again at the community hall, it was awkward at first, two strangers wearing the memories of childhood. But then, a shy smile from her, and a knowing look from him, and the flame rekindled. They began to talk again, slowly, as if time never passed. As days turned to weeks, Chuka and Ifeoma grew close again. They studied together, walked back from school, and shared roasted corn by the roadside. Old feelings resurfaced, but now mixed with teenage hormones and complicated thoughts. The mango tree once again became their meeting place, a quiet witness to their blooming bond. But the village was watching, whispering. Some were happy for them, others envious. A few boys who once tried and failed to woo Ifeoma felt threatened. One of them, Emeka, the son of a wealthy businessman, was particularly displeased. He had eyes on Ifeoma, and he wasn't ready to give up without a fight. Chuka, unaware, continued to fall deeper into the promise that once defined their childhood. Emeka was not one to be ignored. He had charm, money, and influence. His father owned the only modern provision store in the village. One afternoon, he approached Ifeoma with gifts, textbooks, perfume, and a phone. She refused politely, but he persisted. He began to show up at school, offer lifts, and sweet-talk her friends. Slowly, cracks started to form between Chuka and Ifeoma. Chuka noticed the shift. Ifeoma became distant, distracted. She missed their study sessions and started arriving late to the mango tree. One evening, he found her laughing with Emeka at the school gate. His heart tightened, and jealousy brewed. Still, he said nothing. Pride and fear warred within him. Ifeoma was slipping hour, and he didn't know how to fight for her. Emeka turned up the charm. He invited Ifeoma to a party at his father's house, a party filled with music, drinks, and flashy friends from the city. Ifeoma hesitated at first, but her curiosity won.
That night, she saw a different world. Glittering cloth, foreign accent, and promise of a better life.
Emeka whispered sweet words into her ear, painting pictures of a future where she lacked nothing. Chuka waited for her at the mango tree for hours, clutching a book he wanted to share. When she didn't show up, he walked home, feeling defeated. The next day, Ifeoma didn't explain. She simply smiled and said she was busy. That smile, once filled with warmth, now carried secrets. With every passing day, the distance grew. Ifeoma started hanging out more with Emeka's circle, wearing perfumes and accessories she never used to. Chuka tried to act like he didn't care, but the ache inside him was undeniable. The mango tree became a lonely place again. When Chuka finally confronted her, asking what had changed, Ifeoma shrugged.